Welcome back to Marvelous Videos. Ronmir's origins are shrouded in mystery. It is said that he was created by the gods of Krypton to protect the planet from destruction. He is an interdimensional being from the DC universe who has been around since the dawn of time. He was a powerful being that could manipulate fire and heat with ease. He was god of the planet Krypton and worshipped by many of its inhabitants. He was said to be able to create and destroy anything in his path. He was considered one of the strongest and most powerful gods in the universe. He is the god of fire and an ally to the Justice League. He is a powerful being who uses his powers of fire and destruction to help protect the Earth from evil and chaos. Although his origins remain unknown, his power and influence are undeniable. He is a protector of the innocent and a staunch defender of justice, and his presence is often felt in the darkest of times. His power and presence are a reminder of the importance of justice and courage. Haranmir is now a respected superhero in the DC universe. He is a member of the Justice League and has proved himself to be an invaluable asset to the team. So let's dive further into his origin together. But before we get into our explanation, we do have just one very small request. If you like our content, then please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is just a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thanks. Now, let's begin. The entire history and backstory of the Martian god of death. To safeguard the population and their world, the god Haranmir was worshipped by the green Martians of Mars and the red Saturnians of Saturn. This deity was seen as the protector of his people and the ruler of the Mahalika Andra, with the green Martians viewing him as their ancestor and the white Martians revering other gods. The red Saturnians, a people who descended from the green Martians, gave tribute to Haranmir. He was known to be a protector of all his children throughout the universe, looking after them during life and accompanying them to the afterlife when they passed away. His exact role is a bit mysterious, and some feared him as the god of fire and death, whereas others adored him as being the god of light and life, and many held him in high regard as the god of art. Ultimately, Ronmir was the embodiment of transformation, being the god of evolution in all its forms, whether natural or artificial. He watched the green Martians for a long time, with his other deity siblings, and a malicious entity called Ma'alafa'ak unleashed a psionic plague which caused the Martians to spontaneously combust. This disaster claimed the lives of thousands of Martians, and Haranmir was unable to accompany their souls to the afterlife, as they were spirited away to another realm, on another planet, and in a different era. Hence, Haranmir set out from Malayakandra to find his lost children. Haranmir had discovered the cause of his inability to re-establish contact with his children on Earth by the late 20th century. A human researcher, Dr. Saul Erder, had teleported a Martian from the past, John Jones, to Denver, Colorado. This Martian still held a psychological connection to the Martians who had passed away on his home planet. However, the shift in time and space had weakened John's recollection, resulting in him forgetting his bond with his race and burying it in his subconscious. John had been the valiant Martian Manhunter on Earth and had earned the confidence of the Justice League of America, but they were doubtful of Haranmir's visions. In an effort to return John to Malayakandra and liberate the forgotten souls of Mars, Haranmir had tried to communicate with him. Unfortunately, John had been given false reminiscences to take the place of those that he had forgotten, and he didn't recognize or even trust Haranmir. When the Justice League of America encountered a problem that no other member could solve, Mr. Miracle stepped in to help. He was able to connect the Martian Manhunter, John Jones, with Saul Erder, both of whom had already been contacted by Haranmir. This god had the power to restore John's memories, allowing him to remember his true identity and his culture. He asked the Manhunter to help him to free the ghosts of Mars from their ethereal state, and once the mission was completed, Haranmir promised to remain a guardian of the green Martians, as long as there is still one alive. Haranmir is an immortal being who has a multitude of capabilities. He is the god of life, death, change, fire, and telepathy, and he is virtually indestructible. His ultimate goal is to provide guidance to his followers, and he is a benevolent spirit who will always keep his word. With his powers, he is able to transcend space and time, manipulate fire in any form, and communicate with the living and the dead. He is a devoted guardian of the Martian people, and will continue to look after them for as long as there is life on Mars. Now, let's talk about Ma'alafa'ak, an embittered Martian mutant who is responsible for a plague that decimated the entire green Martian civilization on Mars centuries ago. This plague, referred to as Haranmir's curse, was a telepathic vision that passed from one victim to the next when a Martian used their innate psionic abilities. Widely feared by the people of the land, Haranmir's curse was a powerful spell cast by the mage of the same name. The details of the curse are still a mystery. However, some speculate that it was a form of punishment for those who had broken their word and acted in an unscrupulous manner, and it would bring death and destruction to anyone who violated its laws. This virus caused a mental strain, leading to psychosomatic combustion in its victims. This fear and vulnerability to fire, combined with few exceptions, resulted in the death of the most green Martians on the planet. John Jones, a manhunter, was the only survivor of the plague that killed nearly every green Martian still living on the planet. By chance, he had teleported through time and space to the outskirts of Denver, Colorado, by a transmitter beam from Earth. Unbeknownst to him, he was mentally tethered to the spirits of those who had perished, denying them access to Ronmir and the afterlife. Consequently, they were unable to find peace. Mr. Miracle, an alien himself with a deep understanding of gods and spirituality, helped John, the Martian Manhunter, to find his way back to Dr. Saul Erdell, the man responsible for originally bringing John to Earth in the late 20th century. Ronmir, a byproduct of a sentient spore, had discovered John alive on Earth and used his power to beckon him back to Mars. Even John's allies in the Justice League believed that the images of the god Haranmir were nothing more than John's psychic projections, until Miracle came to understand why Haranmir was back on Earth and why he needed John. Dr. Erdell used his transmitter technology to send the Martian Manhunter back to Mars, even though many centuries had passed on Mars since the jaunt to Earth was instantaneous for John, and his true memories of Mars had been altered by Dr. Erdell. Revealing to John that his strength and fortitude were required in order to save the ghosts of Mars, Ronmir restored his true memories on the Red Planet. With full command of his identity, he was able to break the psychic tether, thus allowing the lost spirits to be ushered into the afterlife. It is possible that all the Martian gods are aspects of the Endless. Ronmir, for example, who is referred to by the Red Saturnians as Haranmir, is a masculine aspect of death, and Lazorel, Lord of Dreams, in an aspect of Dream of the Endless. These gods are highly respected and worshipped by the Saturnians. Exploring Haranmir's comic book story arc. The primary story arc of the Martian Manhunter series from 1988 is the ongoing battle between John Jones and his arch-nemesis, Ma'ala Fa'ak. Throughout the series, the two battle for control of John's home planet of Mars and for John's soul. Other character arcs include John's struggle to reconcile his human and his Martian sides, his quest to find a new home on Earth, and his attempts to protect the planet from various threats. In addition, the series explores John's relationship with other heroes, including Superman, Wonder Woman, and the rest of the Justice League. Finally, the series also features a variety of standalone stories, as well as stories that feature villains such as General Zod, Brainiac, and Gorilla Grodd. The first issue of Martian Manhunter's solo run saw the introduction of Haranmir, a Martian god who is psychically linked to the souls of Martians killed by a plague. John and Batman battle him in the Batcave, and John eventually breaks his mental tether to the lost souls. Afterwards, Haranmir takes the souls to the afterlife, thus concluding the arc. The Martian Manhunter 1998 comic issue stories explore the origins of John Jones and his transformation from a Martian refugee into a superhero. The stories also examine his relationship with other members of the Justice League and his struggles to adapt to his new life on Earth. Other storylines in this issue include the investigation of a mysterious illegal weapons plant, the truth about John's past, and the revelation of the connection between Mars and Apocalypse. In the second issue, called The Burning Man, the Martian Manhunter is still struggling with the aftermath of being infected by a sentient spore. He wanders throughout the streets of Chicago and is tormented by visions of Haranmir, the Martian death god. As Haranmir's spirit looms, John's body contorts into violent shapes and is bombarded with scenes of Martian culture that never really were. Haranmir insists that he must burn away the layers of untruth that have clouded John's judgment, so he takes flight to Rome, Italy in an effort to escape. The Justice League International follow the trail of John's rampage and eventually track him to Chicago in Italy. However, when they arrive to intervene, they realize that Haranmir is more than just an illusion. It is unclear whether the death god is physically present on Earth or is only a projection, but either way, he proves to be too powerful for the team of heroes. Mr. Miracle is the only one who can truly understand the plan that Haranmir has has for the Martian Manhunter, and he agrees to aid the deity. In a fit of rage, the Martian Manhunter returns to the United States and crashes near the cottage of Dr. Saul Ordell, who was the one to originally bring him to Earth. The ongoing storyline continues in the subsequent issues of the series, exploring John's role as a hero and his search for peace on Earth. The stories also features John interacting with other characters such as Batman, Superman, and various members of the Justice League. Through it all, John faces distinct challenges that test his morals and resolve by pitting him against natural and supernatural enemies. In the Martian Manhunter 1998 comics, we see Haranmir's character arc progress throughout the series. He starts out as a refugee on Earth, struggling to fit in and make new connections. Along the way, he discovers his true identity and his true purpose, learning about his powers and his abilities, which makes him more confident in his abilities and stronger as a person. He also begins to understand the importance of protecting innocence and fighting for justice, becoming more heroic and determined to help those in need. By the end of the series, he has become a respected and powerful member of both the Justice League and the superhero community. In the final issue of this arc, Martian Manhunter number 3, John is successful in defeating Haranmir and saving his people. However, Haranmir's power has been unleashed, and John must find a way to contain it. With the help of his friends, John is able to seal Haranmir's power away, allowing the Martian people to live in peace once again. The Haranmir Burning Bright story arc was a critical success, with many critics praising the story and its art. The arc was a great introduction to the Martian Manhunter for new readers, and established him as a powerful hero. The story arc also established a number of interesting characters, including the mysterious Haranmir, and established important plot points that would be explored further in later arcs. Haranmir's character arc with Martian Manhunter in the comics is a story of redemption and friendship. Haranmir was a priest of Mars, a being of immense power and worshipper of the god Haranmir. He was a powerful being, capable of manipulating fire, creating illusions, and even controlling the minds of others. Haranmir's power was so great that he was feared by many, and he was forced to flee to Earth in order to protect himself. When he arrived, he was taken in by the Justice League and became an ally of Martian Manhunter. At first, Haranmir was distrustful of Martian Manhunter, believing that he was merely trying to exploit his powers for his own gain. However, over time, the two formed a bond of friendship and trust. Martian Manhunter taught Haranmir about the world, about being a hero, and about fighting for what's right. Eventually, Haranmir's power proved to be too much for him to control, and he lost his mind. Martian Manhunter was able to restore him to his former state, and the two became allies once again. Haranmir proved to be a valuable ally, using his powers to help the Justice League in their battles against evil. He was able to find a new home, a new purpose, and a new friend in Martian Manhunter. The friendship enabled him to become a better person and a hero in his own right. He is first introduced as an enemy of Martian Manhunter, as Haranmir is a white Martian, a species of Martians that was responsible for the genocide of the green Martian race. Haranmir quickly learns of his mistakes and allies himself with Martian Manhunter to save Mars from destruction. Through the course of the story, Haranmir learns to accept his past and recognize the error of his ways. As the story progresses, Haranmir is able to use his newfound knowledge to help Martian Manhunter to fight other villains. He also helps to rebuild Mars and even creates a new form of government that is fairer and more equitable than what the ruling class of white Martians had before. Haranmir also begins to understand the value of friendship and loyalty, which is something he had never experienced before. At the end of the story, Haranmir is able to forgive himself for his past misdeeds and fully embrace his new identity as a green Martian. In issue number 2 of Martian Manhunter The Burning Bright, which is a 4-issue miniseries, Martian Manhunter lands in a Chicago museum's Martian terrarium, which the ghost of Haranmir assures him is their home planet. Haranmir continues to stalk the Martian Manhunter as a result of his fever. When John gets a familiar Martian visage, the fever subsides, and he can think well enough to challenge Haranmir. But the Martian Phantom is too powerful, and when John realizes it is really Haranmir, he starts to run once more. John is being pursued by Batman, the Blue Beetle, and the rest of the Justice League International as he flees around the world. But they are only just able to catch up with him. When John lands in Italy, he once again becomes ill with fever. Realizing that Haranmir's apparition is the Martian god of death and fire, John confronts Haranmir once more. The Justice League encountered Haranmir in Italy, but he was able to defeat all except one of them. There is only Mr. Miracle left. But instead of engaging in combat, Mr. Miracle hands John over to Haranmir. John begins to take off running, acting on instinct. These emotions led him to the one place he last expects, Dr. Ordell's waiting arms, a scientist long believed to be deceased. What's the deal with Haranmir's curse? Haranmir is a powerful god in the Elder Scrolls universe that serves as the guardian of both life and death. He is said to be the strongest of gods in the pantheon, revered in both his own realm and Oblivion, and across the many different worlds of the Elder Scrolls. Haranmir is an enigmatic figure with no clear origin or purpose. He represents both destruction and creation, wielding the power to bring both life and death to mortals at his will. He appears with no physical form, instead choosing to either appear as a radiant light or a burning flame. Likewise, his motivations are quite mysterious. He may guide mortal fate for seemingly inexplicable reasons. His dominion over death especially sets him apart from other gods. He is said to have a deep understanding of life and death, as well as an affinity for reincarnation. He is believed to have assisted many mortals in their travels across the different realms of the Elder Scrolls, guiding them during their most difficult moments with his wisdom and his power. Haranmir is known for his vast knowledge and his willingness to share it with those he deems worthy. He is also shown to give out gifts with those who show unwavering faith and dedication to him, often providing them with blessings that cover any number of needs, from protection to luck and fortune. Those who are favored by Haranmir are usually said to have incredible luck that follows them throughout their lives. In addition, they may be granted the chance to be reborn after death, making for unique immortality. Haranmir is respected and admired by both the gods and the mortals of the Elder Scrolls universe. He is a powerful figure who commands fear and devotion from everyone. Haranmir lore features in the Supergirl TV series. In the show, Haranmir is the god of Krypton and the creator of the Kryptonian race. He is believed to have created the universe and all of its inhabitants. He is usually depicted as a giant figure with wings and 8 arms that hold the symbols of the 4 elements: earth, wind, fire, and water. He is a symbol of strength and wisdom and is revered by Kryptonians as the ultimate source of their power. In the series, Haranmir is mentioned in various episodes, appearing in a vision to Allura Zor-El, Supergirl's mother, as well as in flashbacks. In the episode Far From the Tree, Haranmir is mentioned by the character John Jones, who is also known as the Martian Manhunter. In response to a cry for help, John Jones and Kara Danvers, also known as Supergirl, made a journey to Mars, joined by Miss Martian, Sharon Neal, and a number of Martian residents. The mission was to locate a magical lance connected to the legend of Haranmir. He tells the story of Haranmir to Supergirl and explains that Haranmir is a god worshipped by the Martians. He is the god of death and destruction, and the sun and the stars as well. He is a symbol of strength and courage, and of the Martians' people's struggle to survive and thrive. It was a reminder for Martians to never give up, even in the face of overwhelming odds. What makes him such a supreme being? Haranmir is a supreme character because he is a powerful god of destruction and creation in the Elder Scrolls universe. He has the power to create mortal life and wars and reshape the world as he sees fit. He is said to be one of the most powerful gods among all of the Elder Scrolls pantheon. Haranmir is a strong character because of his unwavering commitment to justice, his merciful outlook, and his willingness to sacrifice himself for the greater good. He is a true believer in the power of good, and despite facing many hardships, he never wavers in his dedication to do what's right. He is empathetic, yet strong-willed, and his courage and strength of character are unmatched. He is an inspiring figure and an example of what it means to have true courage and conviction. Haranmir is an extraterrestrial being with the power to create and manipulate fire. He has superhuman strength, durability, and endurance, can fly, and has enhanced senses. He can also telepathically communicate with other beings and control their mind. In addition, his fire also has healing properties and can be used to help resurrect the dead. This immortal god has a number of powers, the main ones being the following: divine empowerment. He can receive supernatural powers from a divine source, such as a god, goddess, or another higher power. This power is typically believed to originate from his faith in the divine source. Examples of this power can be granted through divine empowerment, including the ability to heal, to manifest one's desires, to manifest protection, and to manifest physical strength. Necromancy. It's a form of magic that involves communicating with the dead. It is believed that practitioners of this form of magic can use it to gather information or knowledge that would otherwise be inaccessible, which Haranmir does with ease. Necromancy is often associated with dark magic and is used to summon and control the spirits of the dead. Telepathy. Telepathy is the ability to communicate directly from one mind to another without the need for words or any physical contact or any other type of communication for that matter. He can sense the thoughts and feelings of others, as well as transmit their own thoughts and feelings to others without them being aware of it. Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is the ability to transform oneself himself or another into an entirely different form. His power is often associated with shapeshifting, but it can also involve the complete transformation of one's body, mind, and soul. Dimensional travel. Dimensional travel is just the way it sounds, the ability to travel through alternate realities or dimensions, allowing for a vast array of possibilities. Using this power, Haranmir can explore various universities and parallel worlds, as well as past or future versions of our own. The power can also be used to access hidden or secret realms of existence, which means tapping into ancient knowledge, and the power of resurrection, which allows him to bring someone back from the dead. Pyrokinesis. Pyrokinesis is the ability to manipulate and control fire. He can also summon and control flames, create or extinguish fires, shape fire into whatever form they desire, and even control the intensity and direction of the fire. And of course, the Martian vision, which is associated with the Justice League. In the DC universe, Ronmir is an alien humanoid with the ability to project fire from his eyes and generate powerful force fields, which can protect him from physical and energy attacks. He is also capable of creating illusions and manipulating minds. Why is Haranmir the source of Shazam's new fire powers? Haranmir is an ancient god, the wizard from the Rock of Eternity, and is the source of Shazam's new fire powers. Haranmir was chosen by the gods to appoint a champion to protect the world from evil. He explains to Billy Batson what he is. He tells him how Shazam is a vessel for their strength, and he should be very lucky to be that vessel. He blesses him with the gifts from gods, and assures him that he is with Shazam and they believe in him, until he fails. Haranmir intimidates Billy by questioning him how he could face Zonus if he could not even face Haranmir. Billy responds in a worried tone, telling Haranmir to stop and implying that Haranmir should reconsider their stance. He grants Shazam the magical abilities of 6 ancient gods and heroes, channeling their power through the wizard's magic. With these abilities, Shazam is able to wield the power of lightning, fire, and other mystical weapons to defend the world against evil. And with that, it's time for us to take our leave. But before that, for all of you who are pondering about the Martian gods, we'd like to point out how similar Haranmir and Hades' characters truly are. They are both powerful gods with the ability to influence the fate of mortals and determine the destinies of those who cross their paths. They both have the ability to command the dead, as Hades is the ruler of the underworld and Haranmir is the god of death. Both gods are associated with darkness and the underworld, reflecting their power and influence over the afterlife, and additionally, they both have a connection to wealth, with Hades ruling the underworld and Haranmir being the patron of merchants and traders. Finally, they both have a strong connection to the realm of the dead, with Hades being the ruler of the underworld and Haranmir being the god of death. It's just impressive how well the lore acts as a palimpsest in the DC universe. And that's all for now. We'll see you guys in our next episode. So long, and keep watching Marvelous. And again, don't forget to leave us a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, have a good one and be safe.